Okay. Good Wednesday evening, everybody. I am so glad to be here with you for tonight's edition of Wednesday Wisdom. And I hope you had a beautiful Wednesday. And let's get started just having a little bit of a clearing while I get us started on what we're going to be talking about tonight. And as you know, we've been talking about our creativity all of this month. And so we're going to be continuing that tonight with our final session for the month of June. And we are talking about birthing the next chapter for ourselves because this is going to be our summer of self expression. And so it's time to really focus on what is it that we want to call in, what do we want to express, and what does the next chapter of our life look like? So here we go. Uh, just in case you don't know who I am, you're seeing me for the first time. My name is Dee Savoie. I'm a goddess activation guide, womb healer, author, and transformation coach devoted to helping women reconnect with their power, purpose, and authentic selves through sacred conversation, feminine embodiment, creativity, and spiritual healing. I create spaces where women can awaken, heal, express themselves fully, and remember who they truly are. Many women know me as the Goddess Whisperer because of the way I help women reconnect to the goddess wisdom already living within them. So let's start. I'm going to put this down because it keeps interfering with our visual here. Okay. So let's start by taking a slow, deep breath together. Feel your feet on the earth. Feel your body supported. Going from the root to the crown. Feel supported. One energy vertebra on top of the other. Okay. Place your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your womb. Take another deep breath. You might feel a pulsing in both the heart area and the womb area. And just sit in this energy for a moment as we continue. Over the past 3 weeks, we've remembered that we are creative beings. We have explored the places where creativity has become blocked. We have reclaimed our sacred voice. And if you've missed any of those broadcasts, please go to my Facebook page and you'll find them there. The Facebook page for Dee Savoie. Okay. But tonight we stand at a different threshold. Tonight is about birth or rebirth, not simply the birth of a project or a business or a book. Tonight is about the birth of a woman because every creation changes its creator. You cannot bring forth something new while remaining exactly who you were before. Birth transforms both the child and the mother. Tonight, we honor the woman that you are and the woman that you are becoming. So let's start with our beginning affirmation. I trust what is unfolding. I honor divine timing. I welcome transformation. I am becoming the woman my dreams have been waiting for. And hold space for that. Hold the energy of that. And tonight's womb whisper from the goddess herself. Sometimes the blessing is waiting for you. Sometimes the blessing is waiting for the version of you who is ready to carry it. Growth is the preparation. Always. Every birth requires preparation of some kind, right? We often think manifestation is about attracting and bringing in, but the womb teaches something different. Before birth comes preparation. The body changes, the heart changes, the priorities change, the capacity to hold expands. The woman herself expands before the child arrives. And the same is true of our dreams. Your business is asking you to become someone. Your healing is asking you to become someone. Your purpose is asking you to become someone. And many women, well, we're always praying for more. Can I have more abundance, more visibility, more opportunities? But the deeper question is, can I hold what I am asking for? Can I sustain it? Can I nurture it? Can I receive it without sabotaging it? The creative womb teaches us that expansion always begins within. Are you ready to expand so that you have the capacity to hold and maintain and sustain the things you dream about? So let's talk about the four midwives of transformation. And you know, I'm all about the number four. I don't know what it is about the number four, but it follows me everywhere. In fact, I once had a license plate on a car that was CWU 4444. Four loves me, and I love four. Anyway, that goes into talking about numerical synchronicities and other things like that. So if you find that you are seeing numbers, um, Google what does that mean online. Anyway, the first midwife of transformation is trust. Trusting what cannot be seen. Okay. And I think that's why we can get stuck in that place where we can't even dream big enough to imagine ourselves, who we are, at the point where we could actually sustain and maintain our dreams. We can't even trust that that is something that could actually happen for us. Okay. The second midwife of transformation is courage. Taking the next step before certainty arrives. Right. And this is something I'm working on with one particular client that I can think of, where for her, it's all about being ready. I got to be absolutely ready for things to, to move forward with things, and then part of that is the longing for perfection. If it's not perfect, then it's no good. And we all know that perfection doesn't really exist. So we end up hunting for something that we can never, ever actually find. So that feeds into both the trust, the courage aspect, and then also the surrender, allowing life to unfold without the need to control everything. And again, that feeds into our feelings of the need for perfection. Okay. And the idea that We need to be in control. We've got to figure it out. We've got to know everything that's going to happen before we can step forward. But it's only when we surrender that true transformation happens. And the fourth, midwife is devotion, showing up consistently for what matters. Okay. And there's a big, I think, a big push in the universe. Every time I turn around, I'm hearing about consistency, consistency, consistency. And I think what's really happening here is that we're recognizing that if you want to build your sense of trust and embrace your courage and allow yourself to surrender, you really have to show up for yourself or for whatever else you're doing consistently every time. Okay, now we all know life happens. Okay, so we don't want to go beating ourselves up over it. And we know that perfection doesn't exist. So we don't want to worry about, do we have a perfect record or not? But we do want to show our devotion to whatever it is that we find important and continue to be devoted to it every time that we are able to do so in a consistent manner and allow people to know that here's where I am and here's where I'm going to be. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Okay. These four qualities become the midwives that help deliver your dreams. And right now, that's really what we're trying to birth in our life, isn't it? To create that life we dream about, desire, and deserve, one with passion and purpose and juiciness and joy. I'm really beginning to appreciate that word juiciness more than I ever have before. Because, you know, when you get to be a certain age, it almost feels as if that, that juiciness muscle can get turned off. But we want to keep it moving. We want to always feel, flowy and in the flow of things. And that's where that juiciness aspect comes, that water aspect comes from. Well, let's think about it this way. A flower does not force itself to bloom. It opens when it's ready, when it's time, in divine timing. And that each of us must trust our unfolding going forward. And that does not mean we just sit around and wait, oh, I'm going to unfold at some point, at some place, at some time. I'm just sitting here waiting. No, we actively work toward what it is that we find important and what it is that we want to manifest in our lives. Another word for manifesting is creating. Just simply create consciously. That's what manifesting is that we are creating in a conscious and intentional manner what it is we wish to have in our lives rather than willy-nilly like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I'll just roll with the punches. We want to make sure that we know what we are inviting into our life and how we're going to handle it should it arrive. Okay? So, one of the most important goddesses in my life personally is the goddess Isis or Auset. I refer to her more as Isis because that's how I first learned her name. Um, but and that's the Greek name for Auset, okay, or she of 1,000 names, 10,000 names, right? She was known all throughout and worshipped all throughout the ancient world. Okay, not just in Egypt, not just known to Greeks and Romans and such, but worshipped throughout the ancient world. And one of the things I personally love about Isis is just her sense of determination, her magic, her creativity, her protection of women, particularly in childbirth. And I think we are all familiar with the story um, of Isis and Osiris. But if you're not, um, and I like to think of it as being one of the stories because until we started to write down um, stories in a very final way. There were very many stories of I think almost any god or goddess that you can think of in any pantheon that you could think of, because these were oral stories, oral traditions, and could change with the teller. Could change just by the inflection or the emphasis that a teller would give to any story. And so I think of it as one of the stories, or the way I'm telling it is one of the ways to tell the story, this particular story of Isis and Osiris. And basically, what happened is that Isis and Osiris were lovers, and unfortunately, this attracted the ire of their brother Set, who was jealous and decided that, I'm just going to get rid of my brother. And and so he cut him up into all different kinds of pieces. And Isis spent quite a bit of time searching and recovering each piece of her love. Now, the only piece that she couldn't find, um, she recreated in the form of a phallus. I think it was glass phallus for Osiris, but she I honor her patience in looking everywhere to recover every single piece um, of her dismembered lover. And through love, through patience, through devotion, through trust, the midwives of transformation, she was able to reassemble him in all his glory. um, and it was from this reunion that their child Taurus was born. So I love that idea of carefully finding all the pieces of ourselves that have gone missing and bringing them back to ourselves. Now, maybe there might be a piece here or there that we cannot find again, but it's all about not necessarily seeking some new part of ourselves or new way of imagining ourselves, but gathering all those old pieces of ourselves that maybe got lost, stolen, or strayed someplace, and bringing ourselves into wholeness once again. And from that renewed energy and vigor, we are able to create whatever it is that we desire to create. Okay? So it's not always about beginning from nothing. It's not always about seeking the new. It's about remembering who you are, even if all the pieces of yourself have gone scattered somewhere. And I know sometimes we as women in particular feel that way after a lifetime of taking care of this one and doing this for that one and working over here for this one and blah, blah. And we allow ourselves to become scattered on the wind, trying to service everybody, and everybody has a little piece of us, and everybody has part of us that we need to reclaim and to bring back to ourselves, bring back our energy, bring back our memories, bring back our sense of self, bring back our self-love, bring back the way that we can honor ourselves and really mean that. Because I think we also can do a lot of talking around it, talking about it. Oh, yes, I'm empowering this, and blah, 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 blah. And it's more talk than action. But I want you to think about the dreams that you carry for your life. And that, there's a saying that whatever you are seeking is seeking you. So maybe it's time to acknowledge that invitation to be the woman you know you can be, right? To create the life that you know that you want and desire. And like Isis, you possess so much innate wisdom, so much innate love, so much innate magic that you can create anything that you desire because you're not creating from emptiness. You are creating from sacred remembrance. Let's take a breath right now. Let's take a stretch right now and feel that come down into your body and hold it. And so let's talk about becoming the woman who can hold the vision. And that I think is the most important part right now, right? Can you hold that vision that you have created for yourself? And the question that I find I need to answer for myself often is, who do I need to become to get what I desire? Not what do I have to do, not where do I have to go, but who do I have to become to receive the things that I ask for, to have my heart's desires and my womb's desires answered. Who do I need to become? Because that question changes everything. Because instead of chasing your dreams, you begin to embody your dreams. You begin aligning with your dreams. And instead of waiting, you begin preparing. And we talked about that a few moments ago, right? It's not about sitting and waiting for something to happen, but to prepare yourself, to prepare the woman you are for the dreams that you hold inside. So ask yourself, if my dreams arrived tomorrow, would my habits support it? Would my nervous system welcome it? Would my calendar make space for it? Would my self worth allow me to receive it? And that's a big one. The woman you are becoming is the greatest creation of all. And I have to admit, there's been many times along my journey where I had to answer the question, no, I'm not ready yet. I haven't expanded enough for the things that I desire to come forward. I have not done the work yet. I haven't paid the dues yet. I haven't done whatever it takes to be able to claim what it is I desire. Okay. And you have to ask yourself these questions authentically and then listen to your own inner wisdom. Okay. Because every chapter of my life has really encouraged me to grow in courage, in truth, in faith, in wisdom, in authenticity, in devotion to those things that I desire. And the work isn't always about what I was personally creating, it was about who I was becoming in the process. And perhaps that's true for you too. When you think about, I always encourage people to dream your grandest dream, not, what's going to happen next Tuesday, but what is the story of your life that you want to create? And make it as grand as possible, make it as adventurous as possible. That's gotten me in trouble lately. But make it as wonderful as possible. And then begin to align your energy, your lifestyle, your being around that thing that you desire to create for yourself in your life, right? And so it's time to really um open, to awaken, whatever that word is, you empower yourself to say, yes, I am ready to live that life that I wish to have, and to begin to expand your mindset, your energy, your spirit for that thing to come in and to be part of your life. Okay. So let's do a little practice together. Okay. So let's meet our future selves, shall we? I like to consider that to be our goddess self because, or a lot of people will say our higher self, but I think of it as our goddess self because she is that most powerful version of who you are. And we're going to think about our goddess self in terms of being that future self that we can tap into and to learn from. So for now, we're just going to imagine that self 1 year from now. So there's been time and energy for things to change and to expand, right? So let's ask her a few questions. Close your eyes and imagine that version of yourself standing before you. And you can ask her, what do you know that I don't yet know? And then pause and allow an answer to come to you. And honor that answer, whatever it is. Treat it as valuable information, whatever it is. It may not ever you may not ever get that information that you want to hear, but the information will be valuable nonetheless, even if you don't hear anything, because then that's saying that you are totally disconnected from that future self. And it's time to reconnect with who you are. So let's move on. Ask, what did you stop believing? Because many times we hold beliefs or stories in our heads that do not serve us, and we want to release them. So it's time to release whatever belief that was keeping us stuck or held back in place. You can ask, what helped you become who you are? What did you have to change, shift, release, or bring in that made you who you are right now? And you can write down those answers. I suggest you write down those answers if you can, and allow this wisdom to guide you to your next steps. Now let's connect a little bit more deeply. For those people, especially those who are not getting any answers, let's close our eyes again and breathe deeply. And this time, imagine yourself standing before a beautiful temple. And as you stand there, the doors of the temple begin to open. And inside the temple awaits another version of you. She's grounded, peaceful, radiant. She smiles because she recognizes you. Walk toward her. And as you do, notice how she carries herself. Notice her confidence. Notice her joy. And you can ask her the same questions you did before because now she's standing before you in so much radiance, so much light, this goddess self. And ask her what you need to release in order to become who you need to be. Ask her, what do you need to trust right now so that you and she will be the same in that future. Listen to those answers and then hold out your hands as she places a glowing golden seed into your palms. And you close your hands to keep that seed safe and protected. The seed feels warm, it holds promise, it holds possibility, it holds your future. Now take that seed and place it in your womb and feel that seed settle into fertile ground. And repeat silently to yourself, I welcome what is ready to be born. I trust divine timing. I release fear, shame, and self doubt. I am ready for the me who wishes to be born now. Take one final deep breath in. Okay. Now we do have a few reflection questions that you can answer for yourself. What new chapter is calling me? Who am I becoming? What beliefs or habits must I release to hold this new season well? What one courageous step could I take this week? And finally, what part of myself am I ready to reclaim? I hope these questions serve you well on your path of discovery, closing out this month. And just remember that the creative womb does not just birth ideas, it births identities, it births courage, it births healing, it births purpose. And if you've been with me through this whole series, I know that you are not the same woman who started out with me at the beginning of June. I know there has been transformation for you. Not because everything has shifted overnight, but because your awareness has shifted and your healing has begun. Your voice has strengthened, and something new has already taken root within you. And so I thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday wisdom journey. We're going to be picking it up again in July. And I really plan for this to be a summer of self expression. Last summer was a summer of self love, and now it's time for us to express who we are, to bring visibility to ourselves, to our dreams, to our stories, to our lives, to our businesses if we have one, to just whatever cause we might really want to support in the world. It is time to express ourselves in whatever way we want to, because we can do whatever we desire on this earth, on this planet, at this time. And so, um, I do want to offer, and when I post this in the groups, I am going to include a special offer that I have for anybody looking at this video, and that is to continue expanding on your creativity through a little program that I have called Cracking the Creativity Code. And it's all about opening up the three intuitive centers of your body that help you create. And that is the third eye, the masculine and feminine, the heart, masculine and feminine, and the sacred womb, masculine and feminine. So through this program, it's really a self uh, taught program that lasts for 3 weeks. If you also would like to add an ignition session with me, which means a session to get you started, that's the VIP, and you can do that. But I think the program stands on its own, and I think can really help you expand a little bit more. There's three topics, which are meeting your muse, uh, stalking your story, and breaking out of your box. And I did originally intend this for people with creative pursuits, and I can certainly help in that way. But it's also about expanding your vision of yourself as a creator of your life as well. So, if you would like more information on that, it will be in the comments when this video gets posted on my various social media sites. So, I thank you so much again for joining me. Again, I'm Di Savoie, I'm the Goddess Whisperer, and I hope to see you again in July to continue our summer of self expression. Love you.